Okay, recording's on. Thanks everyone. And let's see. So just to go through our agenda, and we'll try and keep it quick because some people are leaving on the early side. Uh, I would say our AIO quick implementation is coming along. We have some multicast packets being sent. I currently have them doing some kind of encryption. And I'm working on making something that will decrypt them and receive them in response to the joins. So I have it sending announce frames and join frames, but not yet the actual key frames, which I'll need to add into that allow the decryption. Um, I think after that comes basically um, once we've got it processing the encrypted packets, then we have the integrity frames, uh, the acting and the feedback with the retransmits, and basically flow control and rate control. And then we'd have a functional something that kind of does what it needs to, um, roughly speaking. Um, that's just at the quick layer. This is not any kind of browser integration at this stage. And we're talking about keeping that in AIO quick for now, at least, and probably doing some kind of I feel like our first demo would be a sort of fat client video player um, that can run externally, probably even before we do any sort of H3 integration. Is my current feeling. Anybody want to, I don't know, dispute that or discuss it? But I think that's where we're at approximately on the AIO quick. Yeah, Max and I have done a fair bit of work. Enrique has been looking at it and working on some of the README stuff. Uh, I think Kyle has been pretty busy since we made that switch so far, but I haven't heard from Leo. I think he started his new job and maybe got busy. Um, Internship job. I can't remember what he was doing next, but yeah, I miss him. But he's he hasn't been around for the last month and a half or so. Um, anyway, anything else we should add to the AO quick implementation part? Next, I think.
No, I've figured qlog out a bit, and you can kind of read. I'm gonna change the implementation of like the qlog viewer a bit, so you can actually displace the frames and stuff probably, but they aren't working. And yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, coming along, not super functional yet, but getting some of the bits and pieces together. Um, and I feel like the main blocker, at least on my side, would be just putting the time in to actually make it go. There's a bunch of spec work to do too. I think we've got what 30 open issues or something, 33 or so. We got a great review from Martin Duke, and I really should respond, but that's all kind of beside the point a little bit. Anyway, I guess that would lead into next week. I will be at TPAC, so there will be another. I've proposed a breakout session. I haven't received a confirmed schedule yet, but I'll send out an invite to that meeting. That will be remote enabled via Zoom, I guess, is what they usually set up.
What is that?
TPAC is it's sort of they only do it once a year for W3C, but it's a big in-person convention kind of a meeting, like any of the IETFs, but for W3C instead.
What does TPAC stand for? That might give me
Technical.
All right.
Plenary.
It stands for technical plenary and an advisory committee.
Oh, okay. So it's the W3C part of it is assumed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If
Got
you
it.
just look up TPAC, then W3Cs is maybe like the third hit. There's a few other
Probably
things
get,
named
if I
TPAC.
looked
Yeah.
up TPAC, I'll probably end up with, you probably meant Tupac.
That too, yeah. But no, there's a couple other things that are named TPAC, but no, the W3C TPAC. It's a convention. It's in Vancouver this year, so I get to stay in the same time zone, which is great for me personally, not necessarily for everyone.
I was really looking forward to that Vancouver IATF, the one
Yeah.
that got canceled.
Yeah.
Oh,
But nonetheless, so I'll be there next week. I have proposed a breakout session, not yet been assigned a schedule. Not yet been confirmed that it will be on the schedule, but they weren't totally full yet. They had, I think I was number 41 of 42, or 41 of 60 possible slots. So I do hope to have a slot.
I think that should be fine. I'm slightly worried that they're running a lot in parallel. That
They
like
are,
there are like 4 time slots and 15 sessions per time slot.
yes.
Um,
Yep. So we will be competing with not fewer than 10 other breakout sessions, I think, for attention. So you can ask to not conflict with something, but I'm not sure if you can ask to go up against a particular suite. Anyway, um, the I'm not sure even how I would game that if I were going to try. Anyway, I'm hoping that that I can get perhaps 10% of the attention that's there though, and get some interested people to drop in, and maybe get some new eyeballs on the idea.
yeah, if you've got certain people in mind, it may be worth kind of contacting them directly to let them know. If you go to the TPAC website and sign in, you should be able to see a list of like everybody who's
Oh,
registered to be there.
oh, really? Okay, I will do that. Let's see. Okay, great. List of everybody. Oh wow, yeah, that is right. So there is actually a tpac.org, which is not this. That's about a spectacular new season of Broadway in Nashville is about to begin. Get your tickets. Um, so tpac.org is the first several hits, but then you have a W3C W3.org set of links. If you're signed in, you can see who will be there.
Yeah,
Is
hang
that
on.
under registration?
It's under registration. Yeah, let me find a link.
So there's the detailed agenda with the breakout sessions.
Okay, got it. There's the link.
Fantastic, thank you. I did not see that when I was digging through. I thought I was signed in because I signed in earlier today, but it wanted me to sign in again. Maybe that's why the link wasn't even there. Okay, I'll look through that and see if there's anybody. Everybody else has like already been collecting registrations for the slots. I guess that's what you get if you're more on the ball.
Well, that's just people signing up to the groups that they're interested in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what everybody's kind of chosen for themselves to look at. But the breakouts, like it's assumed that everybody like is free for the breakout times. So there aren't really. There's maybe 1 or 2 conflicting meetings, but not much really.
Oh, just the other breakouts mainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I will I will. That is so. The breakouts were on. The breakouts are all on Wednesday. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'll have 2 days to sort of see if there's any particular people I can induce to attend the session. Also, that would be good fits. I think at this point, what I'm looking for is people who understand the privacy concerns posed by like Apple recently put in some sort of local network permission that gets flagged whenever you do something. So anything that tries to reach a .local address, I think anything that wants to do any kind of MDNS um, capability, which a few things have discovery for MDNS stuff. I think there might have been another couple of things in there. Like some of the second screen people might have heard of some of that. I know we've talked to some of them before. I don't know if they ever did anything with the privacy discussion and the privacy questions I raised with them last time I talked to them as a group. But I'll hopefully get a chance to see some of them in person um, and find other people who might have a clue on that kind of thing. Um, just to see if anybody can identify anything else that's that's coming up as a privacy concern or a security concern um, about I guess the general category. Like we can follow Apple's leadership here in some sense. The general property that we're looking at here is that some new information is exposed to the local network, and this is potentially requiring some level of permission to do that, and the permissions can sort of fit into the more or less normal scheme of permissions. They've lumped a bunch of things together as a single sort of, this app is permitted to get local network access. It's appropriate for that. And so there's a bunch of things that go together, and then they can turn it off if anybody abuses that, right? I don't know how that maps into websites that are permitted to do it through a browser, but maybe I can find people who have some thoughts on that. But I think that's if I can find out like what the API looks like for that for the browser integration, then that seems like probably a part of it. Like getting some consensus that we could plug into that for this kind of a use case would be appropriate, I think. And then or like finding out what the issues are if anybody can identify any issues with it. Um, and then like if there's any concerns about what the API would look like if anybody thinks that default on, for example, would be a problem. Like that seems like a way to get more benefit without necessarily having to change anything. But if you had the capability to deploy this in a browser with default on, uh, how bad a problem would that be in light of the potential to uh, expose the new information that we're seeing in I guess the other thing is it might expose the content that you're consuming to further upstream things. So maybe this is I think there's some discussion to have about that. Like what would be the pros and cons of doing default on versus default off with an enable API to turn on the quick capability, assuming we can ever get it into any browsers. But just general discussion on what the path to browser adoption would have to look like if we can get there. If I can get any better feedback on that from browser people. I don't really know who's going to be there or how much overlap there is with IETF. This is part of my discovery mission in going.
I was just going to have a quick look at the list of people to see if there's any names that I recognize, or any groups that are kind of related. Like there is a privacy interest group that reviews kind of web specifications for privacy considerations. There may be kind of protocol type people in WebRTC or in web transport groups.
Yeah.
That may be worth approaching. I'm just going to have a quick look now, scan through the list and see if any names sort of kind of jump out.
Yeah, I'm much less plugged into this community than to the IETF community so far. I know Chris Lemon's done it. Wonder how many. Seeing a Comcast on there is a small surprise. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know who I'll be aiming for. I guess the other thing is if I can interest anybody in joining our mission to make it happen, that would be great too. I'm sure everybody who's there has a lot of things on their plate. Is the networking interest group? Let's see. I feel like we had a. Sorry.
I think that group is meeting.
Yeah, Web and Networks is on the Tuesday, first thing in the morning, it looks like.
Yes.
I think I'm signed up for going to that, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see who I can hook up with there. That's before the breakouts, so that's helpful. Web transport is after the breakouts, actually. No, that's also on Tuesday, actually. I think I'm also signed up for that one. Let's see if I can prevail on anyone there. Web performance. I guess that's a little bit different mostly.
Yeah, actually that could be good.
Well, WebRTC is probably a better fit for finding protocol people. Web performance
Yeah,
is going to be more page rendering stuff.
it
bet.
is.
Okay. Yeah, I did look through these, and I think I picked the best fits to find people that are there. But yeah, I'll be, stalking the right potential contributors as best I can identify them and trying to get them to consider coming in. So yeah, that's roughly my plan. Not stalking. I'll be, trying to build bridges and establish common cause. Um, yeah, Martin Thompson. If I can get a chance to talk to Martin Thompson, that's certainly. I don't know that he really wants to talk to me about it, but
yeah, hopefully you'll get a better reception from him than at Sec Dispatch.
Yeah, I mean he. At some point he might tell me to go away, but he hasn't told me to go away yet. So we'll see. I know he's very busy too. He's
Yes.
Firefox has a lot going on, and quick too. So yeah, but yes, that is a name I recognize. I did speak to him a little bit at ITF already, actually. just got that he hasn't yet taken a look at our draft, and that web transport is implemented but not yet integrated as of a month ago in Firefox, which is a little bit interesting. And I think it's actually maybe worth noting that I would be very willing as the first browser implementation to look more closely at Firefox. Like I was originally thinking Chromium has more reachable market share, and that still might be a consideration. But on the other hand, I think there's a good chance that the Rust-based extension model for Firefox would be easier to get rolling. So in much the same kind of argument as AIO Quick is easier to work with, it might actually be smarter and better to take a look at putting it in Firefox instead, and then leave the quiche extension to, like, once we've got actual buy-in that this is worthwhile. So
there's an additional argument to be made that that this could be a differentiator for Firefox.
Yeah.
And something that, could at least at the beginning get them some additional market shares that they've been bleeding for several years.
it's
Right, especially if it's being pushed by access networks.
yeah. Okay, sure. That's a good point. There was some interest from I got a query from a couple people. So yeah, that there are some questions about, like, if an MFP that was running their own TV service wanted to run this, then what would that kind of look like, right? So I don't think this all has to be public, public web that can reach anywhere. I think there's, like, the people running TV services, if they could run them from browser-based things, that would be a big advantage for them too, right? So we may have some common cause with any kind of network operators that could be looking in that direction. And that actually would be another really helpful way to get into some of the TVs, some of the smart TVs, as we get closer to that. But yeah, I think my main goal is to get a handle on what TPAC looks like and understand how to best use it next year. But I think there are some useful side goals that are about, like, get some engagement, get some feedback as best I can while I'm there. Lead a breakout session. So yeah, the suggestion to get in a breakout session, very good one. I put my proposal up, and hopefully it will be in that running. I was pretty slow, so I'm glad that they are taking proposals this late.
Yeah, I think it's just the first come, first served. So if they've put 60 slots up, then I think you're fine.
All right.
Um,
Great. Will you be there, Chris?
I will. I'll be there all week. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also signed up for all week. I'm not so targeted yet. I want to get a lot of connections and learning as best I can in there. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll find time for a lunch or a dinner or something. Get together, beer, whatever.
That would be really nice. Yeah. I think Will already reached out to me about something like that, something along
Excellent.
those lines. So yes.
All right, cool. Well, I will see you then. That's great. Okay. Anything else we should go over while we're here today? Have any of our Okay, then I think we should just call it early and get back to work. All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming, and I will stop the recording.